Divorce can be a wrenching and emotional experience for all involved. However, women do face the additional challenge. The average woman's income decreases significantly after divorce, and this is true whether she has children or not. After divorce, many women change from a dual income household to a single income household. But after divorce, where children are involved, on average, men experience a 10% increase in the standard of living, while women see theirs decline.
So we just reviewed the challenges women investors face. Now we're going to move on to how to face these challenges.
Get involved. While it might be practical for one spouse to take the lead in financial research or action, you should discuss and make decisions jointly on a fully informed basis. And this approach will help ensure that families are better prepared for anything that may come their way. I have heard horror stories where you have been married, for a long time, and all of a sudden, money is being hidden, there's debt involved, and their spouses had no idea. So I think it's so important to know everything there is to know about your personal financial situation.
I think that's true, especially after what we just went over. You're probably going to outlive your spouse. You may be actually making less than your spouse. So it's really, really important to get financially involved, understand what's going on, meeting with your financial advisor, participating in your goal plans, your financial plans, etc. So another important thing to do is to take inventory. We often meet with a prospective client who's actually been divorced or widowed, and they're completely unaware of what they actually own, where it's located, or how to access it. For this reason, we've created the Peace of Mind Checklist. And basically, it's a listing of all of your accounts, where they're located, who controls the assets, if there's usernames and passwords to access it, it's in here as well. Why do we think this is important? Well, Christine can really, really talk to this.
Because it's just a nice layout of everything that you're going to need, things that you may never have thought of, especially if you don't have any experience with investing and planning for things like your estate or leaving a legacy to your children.
Right. And we've unfortunately gone through a lot of pain with this where, unfortunately somebody would be widowed. They'd had no idea where the money is. And basically you have to go on a treasure hunt throughout the house to find all the statements, all the documents, find the wills, the estate plans, and there's normally money left aside because you don't know where it's located. It's unfortunate.
Okay, so this next slide, planning for your life expectancy. So we mentioned earlier that women typically live longer than men. And a topic of discussion that we have with our clients is a withdrawal rate. So when you do hit that retirement stage. And to show how important this balance is, if you withdraw just 1% more than your actual safe withdrawal rate, you can go broke before you die. It's a mathematical truth, and it's why accuracy is so crucial. The margin between 1% too much and getting it right could literally mean the difference between poverty and financial independence.
The next slide is going to talk about healthcare. I know most people don't like to talk about this, but another factor you should consider when it comes to having a longer life expectancy is that long-term healthcare can get very, very expensive. While Medicare will cover many medical services, it won't cover these costs. In 2018, on average, the home health aid was about $50,336 per year. In 2028, with inflation, that number is going to become $67,572. That's a humongous increase over a short period of time. It's important to factor this in when you're putting together your financial plan.
This next slide talks about inflation, which I think many investors tend to forget about.
Agreed.
And forgetting it is a critical mistake. It can reduce the buying power year after year and can really put a damper on your projected plans. The time that this presentation was created, inflation was at 1.7%, and the average for 2018 was 1.9. So while inflation has been low since the recession, history shows that it can be much higher.
Now let's talk about how you can plan for and help protect your future financial legacy. Or you can transfer it. That's number three. So you'll transfer the risk by purchasing car insurance. When it comes to investing, deciding whether to accept, manage, or transfer risk will vary from person to person. Our job is to educate you about the options and help you make the right decision.
This statistic is what really gets me. 50% of women say that they've never spoken to their financial professional.
And why do you think that's the case, Christine?
I think it's a confidence issue again. And again, I can't speak for all women, but I can't help but feel like for some reason they feel like they don't have a voice in this topic.
But as a female financial advisor and speaking to female clients, do you feel that way when they're sitting down with you? Are they scared? Are they nervous? Are you, what do you think's in the back of their mind sitting down with a financial advisor?
With me, it might be a different case because I'm a female myself, so they may feel more comfortable asking questions in front of me, which, I mean, I encourage all questions from both parties, the male and female. So that could be a reason of why that stat is so low. But part of what my goal is to really encourage women to speak up, ask questions, and take a seat at the table.
And I agree with that. The only stupid question is a question that you didn't ask. So please don't feel intimidated or wasting somebody's time by asking a question. If you don't understand an acronym or something that financial advisors stated, ask them and say, hey, can you clarify that? Can you give it in layman's terms so I can understand it, and deeper? It's really, really important because if we're sitting there with a client and they're nodding their heads, we're going to assume you know what we're talking about.
Exactly.
And if you don't, raise your hand, speak up and say, look, I don't understand that. Can you review it one more time with me? It's really, really important to ask. So we're going to go through a few basics on demographics and age groups of what you should and shouldn't be doing. In your 20s, take advantage of your job benefits, especially employer matching. So if your employer offers a 3% dollar for dollar match, make sure that you're at least putting away 3% in your 401k. Make it a habit of deferring income from each paycheck to pay off debt, student loans, wherever it may be. Make it automatic. Rather than sitting it in your checking account or savings account, have it auto-deducted to pay certain bills or certain debts. Start your retirement savings. Again, this was the first point. I'll reiterate it. Start soon. Take advantage of compounding, take advantage of time, but start on your retirement savings journey. And then aim for a debt-free lifestyle. Christine and I have really delved into this, especially in the millennial generation. There's a lot of FOMO or fear of missing out constantly out there. You're constantly on Instagram or social media venue of choice, and you're seeing people on the White Sound, Blue Water constantly. Don't be scared about that. Don't be jealous about that. Live your journey, live your life, and aim for a debt-free lifestyle. In your 30s, please keep saving and focus on investing for the future. Normally you're starting a family, maybe buying your first home, so it's really important to focus on the future, focus on your goals, and start saving money for those goals. We want to make sure that you're keeping debt under control. Again, I know a lot of the 20-somethings, 30-somethings still have student loans. Make sure you're putting money aside to pay those off. Get a professional insurance checkup. Beyond your PNC or apartment insurance, and Christine, if you call her, we'll give you her personal story on apartment insurance. It's really important to get at least a term life policy that would cover your spouse and ultimately your kids if God forbid something happened to you, and then stay on top of your health.
In your 40s, set a specific retirement savings goal. Even if you don't know a specific dollar amount of what you should have when you retire, this is when you should really talk to a professional. That way they can analyze your current financial situation and determine a plan as to what you need to do in order to get where you need to be. Also, get a professional insurance checkup. Life is changing, your kids are getting older, you may have another property or two, so you just want to make sure that you're keeping up and protecting yourselves and your family. In your 50s, revisit your retirement savings goal. Is that number going to change? What different life events happen in your 40s that may affect that retirement savings goal now? Take advantage of higher retirement account contribution limits. In your 50s, again, you do have catch-up contributions for your 401k and your individual retirement accounts. Also, review how you're investing in your retirement accounts. So what does that mean? Are your investments still really aggressive? Should they become more conservative as you're approaching retirement? Those are, again, questions you can ask your professional. And lastly, get another insurance checkup. Like we said before, life is constantly changing, so you want to make sure you're always, always, always protected.
Okay, in your 60s, consider your retirement spending strategy. Most people throughout their lives have always focused on accumulation. So, how much money am I putting away? What's ultimately my retirement planning number? Now you have to actually talk about withdrawal strategies. And Christine actually, went over this, as far as a 4 to 5% withdrawal strategy. So it's important to get a handle on how much money you'll be taking out of your accounts, which accounts you'll be taking out of, how much taxes you'll be paying if you do take out money from a qualified account. So we need to start planning those steps out. You also need to analyze your pension and Social Security benefit options, and that's why you need to lean on a financial advisor. You should also consider your health and plan for healthcare expenses. As we went over this, healthcare plan, they're rising constantly. You need to be prepared for that. You also need to review other options if you can't afford to retire. We have a lot of conversations with a lot of our clients that are in that retirement phase of life, and they may have to work a few more years to, basically structure the retirement that they want. And that's fine, and actually it's becoming more of the norm nowadays. In your 70s, you need to start withdrawals from your traditional IRAs at 70 and a half, so you need to make sure that you're getting those RMDs out. You also need to take your Social Security benefits, and if you waited to age 70, congratulations, you've maximized what you could, what the government will pay you back. And then finally, you need to stay on top of your health. What we really want to do in summary is just to make sure whether you're in your 20s or you're actually in your 70s, stay involved, stay active, meet with your financial advisor, ask them the questions that you need answered. Make sure that you're living up to your goals, your financial plan. If you're nervous or have questions or concerned about them, whatever the matter may be, ask. We're here to help.
I know we went over a lot of material today, so please feel free to replay this podcast and write any questions down that you may have. We'd be happy to hear from you. Please email us at invest@pennadvisors.com or give us a call at 800-626-1027 and just ask for Sean and Christine.
So in summary, what are we doing to help our clients work through all the factors we've just shared in this presentation? First thing we help you do is help you diversify across asset classes and set realistic expectations for performance. We communicate with you regularly and educate you about the factors that could affect your financial future. We encourage you to think long term, help you tune out the noise, and make confident, informed decisions about your finances. And then finally, we truly care about you, your family, and your future.
Okay, so if you did end up printing out this presentation, please feel free to rip out the back page and fill it out. Please give us as much feedback as you can.
Finally, thank you very much for joining us today. We hope that you benefited from today's presentation. It was a pleasure speaking to you, and we look forward to continuing our conversations.